All right, so I wanted to break down this edit that I just wrapped up because I think it demonstrates a lot of interesting principles when it comes to YouTube editing. Because editing videos for YouTube is a very different beast from a lot of other things, and while it's all subjective, like what works for me or this video or one YouTuber might not work for anyone else, even though it seems like perfectly logical and it should work universally. But something that I find that works really well is having an intro sequence that's like 3 to 5 seconds long that tells you exactly in a visual way what the game that you're covering is, if you're covering a game. And it's exciting, it's fast-paced, it's action-packed. It feels like you're watching a lot of things at once, you're getting a lot of information, and you're getting exactly what you clicked on. And that really starts with the thumbnail, which matches the beginning of the video. And I picked this sequence of clips, and it's ripped straight from the game's trailer. I didn't actually edit anything about this sequence of clips up until this point in my edit. Found this great sequence of clips where they basically show everything the game has to offer. You're going to have combat against vehicles from the third person. You're going to have control of those ground vehicles. You're going to have survival elements. You're going to have base building or some sort of trade or commerce. You're going to have flight mechanics. You're going to have mysterious story or narrative elements, scavenging, big ships, motorcycles, blah, 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 right? Like this sequence up until where the playhead is completely just original trailer. I'm like, all right, this is perfect. Just save me a ton of time in the edit because for reference, to get the playhead to this point in the edit, which is less than 30 seconds in, took me 90 minutes. And then the rest of the edit, which is an 8.5 minute long video, took me 90 minutes to finish. So basically from the first 30 seconds, I spent 90 minutes on it. And then the last 8 minutes and 10 seconds, I spent another 90 minutes. So it was a very fast turnaround. And picking the music track that I used took about 20 minutes. So you can see how long it takes just to get something done with an intro. And I'm already spending a ton of time. This video's got to come out today. I got to get it done. So I'm not going to go back and change a bunch of stuff after the fact or spend another 3 hours editing it. So what's the dilemma? It's this. That music does not match the cadence of the cuts at all, bro. It feels so lifeless and so dead. And then you get this dramatic hit. And you're like, oh yeah, those drums come in and you got real percussion happening and it really fits the vibe of the edit. And yes, the cuts don't perfectly match the drum beat, I know, but it feels very connected and it feels like you're watching something that fits the music that you're hearing. But this intro sequence does not hit. Well, funny I should say the word hit a lot because what do you know? Hits, risers, and downers. I have this great pack by Negativist Audio, and they have 2 free packs that you can download from their YouTube channel, and it's basically just like sci-fi sounding, Hans Zimmer sounding stuff that you can put in your edits. Very simple stuff, and basically I picked a heartbeat and a downer, which gives that intro sequence a little bit of oomph. It gives it a little bit of punctuation at the very start, and it makes it feel a little bit more connected to the music. And I think that works a lot better. Like I said, I could spend a ton more time on this edit and really finesse things and get the perfect track and get a bunch of hits and stuff in there to make each little cut feel perfect and properly placed. But people are going to watch this video once. And hopefully they watch the whole video, right? So if I can just hit them with something a little bit exciting visually where the music matches, it's not super critical that, you know, when award season comes around, I'm winning an Oscar for sound design, right? I just want to get this out the door as fast as possible. And I think what I ended up with right here sounds pretty good. And one other thing I did, because I wanted that hit to really have serious impact. Like I wanted it to hit a little bit harder than it does. And an easy way to do that is by making the music sound different before and after the hit. And literally the simplest way to do it is take the music piece that you have up until the hit that you want and just add an EQ on it and do a high pass or a low pass to cut off those frequencies. Basically, I just made it sound like it's underwater. Here, I'll play just that EQ'd part. So when you play them together, it feels like there's a lead up, a build up, and a transition to that hit that wasn't originally in the music, even though you're actually just hearing the original music with an EQ. It's that difference, it's that contrast right at the point of the hit between what came before it and what came after it that really makes that hit feel more impactful. That's why when you add a ton of compression to audio, it doesn't sound loud or impactful because everything's the same volume and the same tonally. And there's no dynamic range. Basically, this is a really simple way of adding dynamic range to a track after it's already been recorded and you're dealing with it after the fact. And it makes those hits just hit so much harder. So when we listen to everything, including the voiceover, it really, I think, lands.
Hey guys, Level Cap here, and yesterday the trailers for Dune Awakening.
And you hear how he slows down after that first couple seconds and says Dune Awakening. And then he starts going into this stuff.
Were released. This is going to be an open world survival game very much inspired by and based.
You see how everything he's saying matches with the clip that I'm showing? Again, this is like the second intro. Basically, everything up to this point is intro 1, and then this is intro 2. Basically, I'm stepping down the pacing of the video progressively until I get to the point where we're here after the intro animation plays, where it becomes more conversational, more, not narrative, but structured and easy to digest and follow. Basically, I'm saying, hey, here's everything you're going to find out about in the video. Here's what it's about. Here's what the game's about, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into it. And then you get to this point in the edit, and that's what happens. You get into the details. And I find this format works really well. And the last thing I want to highlight that I did was, okay, I got my music fixed in the beginning of the video, but I need a way to get to this point in the edit audibly. Just take the end of the song and put it where you want it to end, and then put a crossfade, because pretty much any music you're going to use in an edit has a beginning, middle, and end point, and you just pick the points you want and put them in the edit where you need them to be, and then bridge the gaps with crossfades. Because the original edit, or the original track, just sounds like this at this point. And that would work if I was going to continue the same track, but I don't continue the same track. I actually use a very different track. I use this. So there's this nice long pause where you let the visuals kind of soak in, and then another hit on cut. And we do that a bunch of times, and then the music kind of, whatever, that's not important. But basically, I just took the ending of the song, I slapped it on with a nice long crossfade, and you get this.
As created for the Dune franchise, and honestly, it looks really good. Now I'm excited.
I think that works, and I think that's basically the fundamentals of a good YouTube intro. Hope this helps.